Well, hey team, welcome home. I hope that your trip here to Denver was enjoyable. It was impactful. I hope that you were able to engage and reach a lot of people. And I want to say thank you again for coming here and working with us. Thank you for committing your time, your money, your talents, your energy to come all the way from wherever it is that you're from to work with us here in Denver and really engage in God's mission here. We are so thankful that you came, and I really hope that you'll come back soon. In this last video session, I want to talk about something that we call re-entry. And re-entry, what that means in the missions world is how can you come off the mission field in a healthy way? How can you come back to where you're from and continue in God's mission as you're getting back to normal life? That's really what re-entry means. And missionaries all around the world have to do this because coming off the field can be a very difficult thing. So I want to just give you some pointers for this. This is something that I do with every single team, not just teams that come in and work with us, but also teams that I actually take around the world to do missional work. And it's so important that we know how to understand, process, and really do that re-entry process in the right way. So here's just some tips that I want to give you as you're getting back, home, as you're getting back into the normal swing of things. And here's the first point for you is this: understand that people won't understand. I remember when I was younger, when I was a teenager, I used to do a lot of mission trips. I'd go out to different parts of the world, and I'd come back, and I remember trying to tell people about how it was, and I just really couldn't do that well. And people just, they'd be like, "Oh, cool, you went and did some things in that country or this country, and oh, that's cool." But I really just wanted to share with them my experience. I wanted to take them there is really what I wanted to do. And I remember I was a lot less mature, and I remember one time I was actually standing in the school registration line for high school. I'd just come off the field for 2 months in various countries, and I was jet lagged, and I was really having a hard time. And I remember there was these two girls that were standing right behind me, and they were complaining about how Starbucks got their coffee orders wrong. And I remember turning around to them, and I don't know, I wasn't mature. I was kind of a dummy, and I turned around and I just began to say, "Hey, you know what? You're complaining about your coffee order being wrong. Well, guess what? I've spent time in poor villages for the last 2 months, and I've done this and that." And it was just complete arrogance. It was complete stupidity, and I just went off on these two girls for some reason because they hadn't shared my experience. And I really want to encourage you. Look, people are just not going to understand. Maybe as you were here in Denver, maybe you saw things, maybe you saw poverty, maybe you saw drug addiction, maybe you engaged with people, talked with people, ministered to people that were really, really in a hard time in their life. And guess what? People are not going to understand the experience you've had, and that's okay. Understand that people will not understand, okay? Here's the second thing that I really want to encourage you in is prepare a short testimony. This is one way that maybe we can help people understand, is to prepare a very short testimony, maybe 30 seconds or a minute long. If somebody asks, "Hey, how was your trip?" you just say, "Hey, it was awesome. I went here, I did this, I worked with this church, and this is how it impacted me." If you can prepare this well, it's kind of like an elevator speech just to give to people. It's really going to help them to understand maybe a little bit of what you've gone through, and it helps you too to be able to articulate what you've gone through as well. Okay, so understand that people won't understand, but prepare that short testimony. It might help out as you're trying to articulate what exactly it is you've been through and how you've seen God work in and through you. Okay, here's the third point. Keep yourself covered. Keep yourself covered. And this is so important. I spoke in session number 2 about the fact that the enemy hates what you just did. He hates that you have been on mission. He absolutely detests the fact that you went to Denver, Colorado, that you came here, that you try to engage people with the gospel, that you did missional work. He hates that. And guess what? Sometimes he tries to attack us when we come back home. It's almost like we take months and months preparing. We do all this kind of stuff to get ready for the trip. We pray, we fast, we raise money, all that kind of stuff. And then we go there, we do this amazing work, we come back, and then it's almost like we're open, we're vulnerable to being attacked by the enemy. And again, I'm not saying any of these things to make you afraid, just like I said in session number 2. We don't have to be afraid of the devil, but he tries to attack us. And so keep yourself covered. Just keep praying that God would cover you and protect you as you have returned from the mission field and you're back home. That's very important. Keep praying. Keep praying for your team. Keep praying for us here in the Livingstone Church. Keep praying that God would use your team members in the future in missions. Protect them. Pray protection over them. It's so important that we continue to pray even when we come back off the mission field. Okay? So that's number 3. Here's number 4. Post-trip depression is a real thing. Just don't stay there. Post-trip depression is a real thing, but don't stay there. Look, I've had times where I've come off the field just having an amazing experience in different parts of the world, and to come back to normal life, sometimes it can be difficult mentally or emotionally. And what I want to encourage you in is, look, that's normal. Maybe you're feeling that. Maybe you just want to come back to Denver. Maybe you just want to continue to operate in missions, and those things are actually very good, but just don't stay in that state, okay? It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be a little bit depressed because of what you just experienced, and you want to get back to that. But I want to encourage you, don't stay there. And that really leads me into my 5th and final point, which is this: take advantage of the missional momentum. Take advantage of the missional momentum. Maybe you're here and you're in a spot where you really want to go back on the mission field. Maybe maybe you're having feelings of sadness. Maybe you're a little angry because people don't understand and they can't. I want you to take every single emotion that you're feeling, every experience that you just had. I want you to ball that up, and I want you to throw that towards the next missional opportunity that God has for you to fulfill. And this is so important. It's not good, even if you're not dealing with emotions and stuff, it's really not good to come off the mission field and just stay stagnant. The beautiful thing about being in Christ, the beautiful thing about engaging in God's mission, is it doesn't stop with one experience. We're meant to continuously be in mission with God. We are created, we're designed to continuously be working hand in hand with the Lord to bring His truth, His message, His hope, His love to the world around us. That is so true. So I just want you to ask yourself a couple questions. Number 1 is this: how can I continue the missional momentum here at home? How can I continue the missional momentum here at home? Maybe you're going back to school. Hey, how can you reach people in your school? Maybe you're going back to work. How can you reach people at work? Maybe you're so passionate, so on fire for missions now. Well, how can you continue that in your church? How can you engage in God's mission through your church? Okay, so that's the first one, is how can I continue that here at home? And the second thing is this: how can I continue that missional momentum outside of my home? Maybe God is calling you to go on another mission trip. Maybe He's calling you to come back to Denver. We'd love to have you. Maybe He's calling you to come back to Denver to work permanently with us, or at least for a few years. We actually have internship opportunities available. So if you'd like to come back here, if you feel a calling, a passion, a burning desire to come back to Denver and reach people here, we would love to have you as a church. So there are ways that you can continue in God's mission despite coming back home from the field. Take all those things you experience on this trip, take the emotions, take the experiences, ball them up, throw them towards the next missional opportunity that God has for you. And this is so vital for you to do, okay? God is not done with you yet just because you came back off the mission field from Denver. He's going to continue to use you in missions. He's going to continue to use you to reach people. I really believe that, okay? So just to recap, the re-entry process, as you have come back home and you're trying to get back, used to the swing of things back home, understand that people won't understand. That's okay. Understand that people may not understand, okay? Number 2, prepare a short testimony. Number 3, keep yourself covered in prayer. It's so important to continuously be praying. Number 4, post-trip depression is a real thing. Just don't stay there. Okay, and then number 5, take advantage of the missional momentum. Continue to be in God's mission. It's going to be an amazing, amazing future for you that He has if you can think that way and continue with that mindset. Okay, so thank you again for coming to Denver. Thank you for working with us. We love you guys. We're so appreciative of you, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you.